Welcome to Lesson 06, where Debian stops being a static system and starts actually doing things for you. Stage 2 opens here, and Systemed is the gateway, the init system that's run Debian since version 8 back in 2015, handling services, dependencies, logs, timers, and sockets all under one roof. By the end of this lesson, you'll know unit file anatomy, the override hierarchy where etc. beats, lib, the drop-in pattern used in production, and enough journal CDL to pull logs from any service in a single command. Master this once, and Nginx, Postgres, or your own Python daemon all become the same workflow. So let's crack one open. Every unit file is plain INI text with 3 sections. Unit describes what it is and what it depends on. Service describes how to run it, and install describes what enabling it actually does. Look at this Nginx unit. After and once set the boot ordering, type punch forking tells Systemed how the process signals it's ready. Exec start pre validates the config before launch, so a typo never takes you down. And restart on failure means a crash brings it right back. Learn this shape once, and Postgres, SHD, your own Python daemon, they all read the same way. Now, before we modify anything, burn this rule into memory. Never touch files under lib systemed system. That's package territory. The next apt upgrade wipes your changes without asking. Your playground is etc. systemed system, and system's lookup order guarantees it wins. Etc. first, then run, then lib. First match takes the unit, and when you're not sure what's actually loaded, system cat tells you the truth. Source file, drop-ins, all of it. Same principle as lesson 3. Etc. is yours. Lib belongs to the package manager. So how do you actually customize a unit without copying the whole thing? Drop-ins. You create a small .conf file under etc. show system nglx service dull, and system demerges it on top of the upstream unit, surgical, auditable, and it survives every package upgrade. Easiest path is systemctl edit. It opens the right file in your editor and runs daemon reload for you on save. Need an aggressive restart policy? An env var, a memory cap. 3 lines in a drop-in and you're done. Then verify with systemctl cat. Base unit plus every drop-in. Merged, always check. And speaking of systemctl cat, it's one of 12 commands that'll carry you through 95% of your system work. Group them in your head: service control, status, restart, reload, start, stop, boot persistence, enable, disable, and the yell, now shortcut that does both at once. Inspection, cat is active, is enabled. Those last 2 are scriptable, perfect for monitoring checks. And debugging, list units. Failed to find what's broken right now. List dependencies. Reverse to see who depends on this unit before you touch it. Alias the long ones. Make them muscle memory. Now let's put those commands to work scheduling jobs. Cron still works, but for new code, system timers win. Same unit syntax you already know. Logs land in journal CTTL, and you get features cron never had. Here's the pattern. 2 files in etc. systemed system. A one-shot service that runs your script and a timer that triggers it. Notice, randomized delay sec spreads load across a fleet so you don't hammer your backup target at midnight, and persistent true catches up if the box was off. Enable, now the timer, not the service, then list timers to confirm the next run. And when those timers fire, where do the logs go? Straight into the journal, which brings us to journalctl, the one query tool that replaces tail, grep, and lias across every service on the box. Learn 6 or 7 flags, and you're done opening log files by hand. -U filters by unit, -F follows live. That's your most used combo, all Nginx logs streaming in real time. -P filters by priority, so -P error shows errors and worse, optionally scoped to one service. -B is this boot. -B-1 is the previous boot, gold for debugging a crash. And -O JSON pretty gives you structured output to pipe into JQ. Disk usage and vacuum time keep the journal from eating your disk. Call back to lesson 5. Now let's harden a service in 5 minutes flat. Drop a hardening.conf into nginx service.d and systemd will sandbox the process for you. No new privileges blocks Setuid escalation. Protect system while strict mounts the root file system read-only. Private tomp gives it its own TMP namespace, and protect kernel everything locks down the kernel surface. Whitelist, only the writable paths Nginx actually needs, then run systemd analyze security Nginx to score it. We just dropped from 9.6 exposed to 2.4. Okay, no app or more profile required. That's a stage 3 preview. Lesson 16 takes it further. Shifting gears from individual services to the bigger picture, targets are how system groups units into boot states. On a server, you'll live in multi-user.target. Desktops add graphical.target on top. The two you need to remember for bad days are rescue for single user with root and emergency, which is just a root shell on a read-only root when nothing else will come up. Check yours with systemctl get default and use systemctl isolate to switch live without rebooting. Now for the war stories, 5 gotchas that will absolutely bite you in production. Number 1 is the king. You edit a unit, restart the service, and nothing changes because systemd is still running the cache definition. Always daemon reload after manual edits. System clean it does it for you. Hand edits don't. 2 is the etsure is yours rule again. Touch lib, and apt wipes you out on the next upgrade. 3, match type to how your daemon actually behaves, or systemd will kill it before it's even alive. 4, with timers, you enable the timer, not the service. The timer pulls the service in at fire time. And 5, hardening directives like protect, system strict will silently lock your service out of its own log directory, add read-write paths, and tighten gradually. So let's lock in what you've built. 6 skills, unit file anatomy, unit, service, install. Same syntax for every daemon you'll ever touch. The etsura beats lib hierarchy, your golden rule. Drop-ins through system.let for surgical, upgrade-proof overrides. 12 daily commands now in muscle memory. Timers as the modern cron replacement. And journal CTL mastery, our 6 flags. Query anything. Lesson 07 is networking. 3 stacks, 1 job, then DNS in L08. That's stage 02, the operating spine of your Debian box. And that's a wrap on systemd. Unit files, drop-ins, timers, journal CTL, all fluent, all yours. Next up, networking, where Debian hands you 3 valid stacks, if up, down, systemd, networked, and network manager. And you pick the right one for the job. Fire up lesson 07 when you're ready. Your terminal's waiting.